everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the vlog. So a little change from the normal program. We are doing a car review today, and today we are reviewing the Audi SQ2, an unassuming car with a little bit of a bite and something very familiar. Let's take a look. Okay, so today we're reviewing this Audi SQ2. Now, who would have thought that there was an Audi SQ2? Until recently, I never knew that this car exists, but here it is, and it's quite an interesting car because it has the legendary 2-litre TFSI engine pushing out 300 brake horsepower and 400 Newton meters of torque across the broad range of engine range from 2000 RPM right up to 5,300 RPM. So it's a bit of a wolf in sheep's clothing. When you look at these cars, you often will associate them with SUVs, small SUVs or compact SUVs. So this is a bit of a wolf in sheep clothing in terms of what it does and how it presents itself. Okay, so let's talk about some of the features that distinguish this car from any of the other Q2s. So, like I said, it's got the 300 brake horsepower 2-litre TFSI engine that is fitted in the 8V SV S3. So it's from the S3 family line. It also has a 7-speed S-tronic DSG gearbox on here, quattro, all-wheel drive, and compared to the standard Q2, it is 20 mil lower on the ride, and of course is fitted with some lovely 19-inch rims, which actually I've never seen these rims before, but I love the cut on them with the Audi Sport on here and a white trim. So you've got the white and grey accents in it as well. Really makes a car pop. Right, now let's take a look at the little motor to see how she looks. So we have the classic 2-litre TFSI engine here. Nothing really to show on this motor, only that it is a well and truly well-tested formula that Audi have perfected over the years, and so it sits nice and smug in this box here. And of course the air filter system. The only thing that I would do if I had this car, I would probably change it for a high performance tube just to get more air into it, but it's a familiar layout to me, and it, like I said, this is a tried and tested formula by Audi. They know it works. Now, other than the way that the car looks, and you wouldn't really be able to tell that this is an SQ sporty model, other than when you come to the back you get that recognizable 4 tailpipes telling you that this is an S model. So it's a bit of a sheep in wolf clothing, and I think it's quite impressive. Let's take a look on the inside. Inside of the dash is well proportioned. It is a little dated in comparison to the modern day fleet of Audis that are out there. So this is more of the previous generation, the way that this looks and is styled, and it has a traditional gear stick as you would get. So that doesn't take away from the ambience of the vehicle and what it's trying to achieve being an S model. The dials, if you're familiar with the 8V models on the S3s, exactly the same and has been used in a range of Audis. And of course you get that virtual cockpit that really stands out. How about the seats? So the seats on here, we've got that Napa leather, which is long standing and is well and tried and tested. This is the Napa leather on the Audis are just fantastic. They really work well. What about getting into the back? How much space do we have? Space in the back, plenty of space, headroom, no problem here. As you can see, I'm quite relaxed in the back here. Nothing really to report here. Although the sort of seat well is a little high and this narrow here is slightly small, it's no biggie because once you're in, you're in. But in terms of comfort, and I can see the front and all around, it's a pretty nice place to be. Okay, let's take a look in the boot. Of course, the SQ2 has an electric boot, which is great. Plenty of space in the back for your luggage and cases, and you can also drop the floor down lower if you need that more space as well, like that. And then that just gives you a little bit deeper in terms of the storage capacity, split 60/40 splits as you would imagine, and of course you've got your head parcel shelf that you can remove if you need to carry more luggage, like I tend to. And here's a little feature that a lot of people don't know about. Actually, they have these in VWs and in Audis, but if you put the parcel shelf right up like that, you have these little notches here which will actually hold the car in place. Absolutely fantastic, so you can get to below. Now the SQ2 also comes with a subwoofer, and I tell you what, these subwoofers are fantastic in terms of what they do and deliver. Now this is a very familiar place to me, as you can see. Lovely dashboard, and car looks really good, so very happy with that. And the virtual cockpit, again, the same as the dated ones that we have in the S3, but again, all the information is there at your fingertips, and of course that familiar controls that we have here as well, and we can then alter the views that we have as well. So we can have, when we're in sporty mode, we've got smaller dials, and of course we can also get the nav up as well if this car had the nav module, but it doesn't. Or does it? Yeah, yes it does. So we should be able to bring the nav model up here on the view, which will then cover the whole of the cockpit. But anyway, the screen as well, we've got a nice big wide center screen with all the information. This is the older model of the MMI. I think this is the MMI 2 or 3, but it is still as informative. So when you go into the menu options, you've got all of your different options for the vehicle, including the car. If you want to check the pressure of the tires, or select the different engine modes as well. So we can put on our driver assist mode, AC, etc., servicing check, etc., all at your fingertips, and all controlled here via this spindle dial. Okay, so let's take this SQ2 for a bit of a spin, and let's see how she drives. So the first thing you notice about this car is that the suspension on it is very sure-footed. It is low. It doesn't feel wobbly like you would normally do on a SUV. And actually, driving this car, it just feels like a higher S3. It's totally manageable, totally predictable. I must say, the latest versions of Audis, they've really got they've really sorted the handling. Not that they ever had an issue with handling, they didn't. But you really do feel confident when you're driving these type of cars. So what I'd like to see is how this car performs on the open road. Let's get through this little junction here. Here we go. We've got a nice horse car in front. Sound-wise, I'm not sure whether they're piping sounding through this, but it certainly sounds a bit more meatier than the traditional 3 litre, 2 litre. It sounds like a 3 litre that I'm driving, and it certainly does feel really torquey. This car, of course, has got the panoramic sunroof. Actually, not the panoramic, it's just a standard sunroof, but it's quite big. It feels like a panoramic, and it certainly does cover the whole of the space here, giving that nice little light appearance. And again, the legendary Audi driving position, which just works so well for me, which is one of the reasons why I like Audi so much, because I know that when I get in there, it doesn't matter which model I get in, even the smallest A1, the cars seem to be designed to fit me, and they fit really well. So what I want to see is how this car performs on the open road. So we've got a bit of a road coming up now. So let's give it traditional beans. I'm going to pull out slow, and then yeah, she pulls nicely. Now we're driving in dynamic mode at the moment, so we're not driving in sports mode, but what we'll do, we'll stick her in sports mode and we'll see how she performs. Now of course with this, it's the old knockdown notch, so we'll do that now, and she flips down the gear. Yeah, it's definitely piped in sound. You got that RS3 piped in sound that I'm not too fond of. But actually, to be fair, it does enhance to the driving experience. Now, in terms of, because this car is higher than the S3, but it doesn't feel unstable. It feels quite sure-footed. It feels very confident. Not as confident as the RS3. The steering wheel is a little bit heavier as well. Not so responsive, but you'd expect that you are much higher than the traditional RS3. But in terms of how the car feels, it definitely feels very confident, and I'm really surprised. I'm surprised at this. I am. I would never have considered this model, but now that I've taken it out for a drive, it feels really good. I would certainly like this as a second car. If I had two cars in the stable, one that was totally unpractical, like, I don't know, an R8 maybe, and then this as your daily, this will make a good daily because you've got that sporting fun factor, and but at the same time you've got the practicality of a bigger car. So it's a win for me on this one. It really is. And of course, the virtual cockpit, you've got various options in here. At the moment we are in S Drive. Now if I click on the view button, you see that we've got small dials and we get more of the map on the screen, and that's really good because it means I can concentrate on just looking down rather than looking across. But equally, I also have the other screen available to myself. So if I look on this side there with my head cam, you'll see that we've got both options, both screens there, so my passenger can have a look and see where I'm going, and I can keep my eyes firmly on the road and watch what I'm doing without being distracted. Okay, so we're in sports mode now. We're going to give the car a little bit of a push and see how she performs. Here we go. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. That's very impressive. So, verdict. Would I buy this car? I would buy this car. I would. It's a really... And what? Two reasons why I would buy this car. The practicality of driving a mid SUV. Absolutely brilliant. Now, although my family situation has changed, my kids have grown up and moved out, I probably wouldn't need a car like this to carry the family, because it's just me and my wife. But for those DIY jobs and just carrying bulk stuff, which we do a lot of, this will be the ideal car. Now at the moment, my ideal car for doing that is the S3, but with this having the additional height, it just means that you get to enjoy more of the beautiful countryside that we're in. At the moment, I'm enjoying the views of the Cotswolds, which is fantastic. And to be able to do it from this height, it really does make a difference. Now, whether that's a distraction or not, I don't know. But in terms of if you're driving away for a weekend, it just adds to just adds to the experience, really, isn't it? And this car would certainly be a lovely experience to have and to own. So top marks indeed from me in terms of what this car delivers. Bit of a sheep in wolf clothing, really, because you would never have considered this car. You probably wouldn't even, like I said, you probably wouldn't even have known that this car existed. So well done, Audi, for putting this one out of the bag. But you need to market it more, because I think it's a really, really good car. So, driving the SQ2 felt just like driving my S3. It really did. Just a higher version of the S3. So, it was a very familiar cockpit indeed, as you saw in the video. And unassuming car, you will never believe that that was what it was until you get in there, and the performance and the handling of the car was fantastic. So, I want to thank Audi for the opportunity to be able to test that car and drive it. And we look forward to doing something like that in the not too distant future. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe down here. Click on the notification button so you know whenever we release a new video. And if you are a casual subscriber, we urge you to consider subscribing. That's it. Have a good one, and we will see you back on the TTS next week. So have a great week.